Hey YouTube, it's your gossip guru here with Kris Kringle. What up, Santa? And tonight we're going to chat about Barbara Walters' top 10 most fascinating people of this year. Let me just get to my little list on Microsoft Word. Okay, here we go. In no particular order, here are the top 10. We're going to first mention the Kardashians, mainly for the surprise. Why are the Kardashians considered some of the most fascinating people of this year? Well, I think Kim Kardashian made a good point in the interview with Ms. Walters when she said that where they may be criticized for being famous, they are airing their lives on television, and that's a pretty gutsy maneuver. If you ask me, not everyone is willing to do that, and they're really don't have any shame, so I think they can be credited for that. I think saying that they're famous for being famous is a little bit harsh, but just the same, it's a little perplexing as to why the Kardashians are actually on the 10 most fascinating people list. Another person on the list was Simon Cowell, formerly a ever so constructively critical judge on American Idol. He now is a judge on The X Factor. Simon did make a point of saying that The X Factor isn't quite as popular as he had hoped, but he still is going to keep on trucking and plan for it to get to the popularity of American Idol. So I have no issues with Simon Cowell. I respect Simon Cowell, and he was my favorite judge when he was on Idol. Now my favorite would be Steven Tyler, but Simon Cowell, I'm alright with him being on the 10 most fascinating people of this year. Another person was Herman Cain, former Republican hopeful for the presidency. He obviously had a lot of accusations thrown his way in regard to affairs, and whether they are legitimate or not, we may never know. He denies the claims, but has since dropped out of the race. So I think it's justified that Herman Cain made Barbara's list, because before the accusations came out, they were pretty convenient when they came out, but before they came out, he was the leading Republican hopeful in the race. So Herman Cain, Simon Cowell, you're both justified. Katy Perry made the list, and I honestly cannot remember what it was, but I know that she's on some equal standing of some sort with Michael Jackson, so that alone may make her qualified for this list, but she was on the list nonetheless, and just kind of went into talking about the quirkiness of her home life growing up. Her parents were, I guess you could say, hippies of some sort when they were younger, and then became pastors. So that's a drastic change in lifestyle. Katy Perry is also daring with her fashion, and she doesn't seem to be afraid to be daring with her lyrics or speak her mind, so that's respectable. I think she's suitable for the list because she is such a bold personality, her own personality. I can always commend uniqueness. Then Donald Trump was on the list. We all know who Donald Trump is. If for nothing else than his fortune and his infamous hairstyle. But he was on the list, and I think it was mainly because he had at one point said that he was going to run for the presidency. From what he said, he could still change his mind, and if not, then he would be willing to back a Republican at some point. So, and he seemed to feel that the Republican he decides to back would be a shoo-in just because of his name being behind them. So, and props to Donald Trump for his confidence. There was also mention of how he questioned whether or not Obama is actually a citizen of the United States, but that was quickly kind of shoved under the rug. So I'll go forth and okay Donald Trump for this. Next, but again in no particular order, we have Jesse Tyler Ferguson and Eric Stonestreet, both actors on the show Modern Family. They play a gay couple raising a daughter that they adopted, and just the borders, the boundaries they have broken in television qualified them for this list, and the show is well respected. The show has received a number of Emmys in just a short time, and just props to them. They seem to have good chemistry on screen and good chemistry off screen. They had good chemistry in the interview with Barbara, just giving Santa a little more face time. And one of them is actually gay in real life. It is Jesse Tyler Ferguson, and he just happens to be playing a gay character on television. Eric Stonestreet is straight. I just thought that was interesting how one of them is actually gay and is playing a gay character. I just haven't heard of that happening too frequently, but they seem like pleasant people, so I will okay them as well. As if my opinion matters, but and then there was Amanda Knox. She made the list too, the student that was studying abroad in Italy and ended up being accused of the murder of her roommate. I got the impression that she made the list because her story was just so tuned into over this past year, and she did ultimately get released from prison and cleared of the crime and is now home in the US. But I think just people were tuned into the case so much, her name had to make this list. So that works for me. And I'm trying not to be biased with the next person, but Derek Jeter made Barbara's list, and Derek Jeter, the New York Yankees player. I'm a Boston fan, but Derek Jeter has earned his reputation as a good baseball player, so I will give him that. I don't necessarily like him that much as a person, but Derek Jeter grew up as a Yankees fan, and he has played for the Yankees for, I want to say at least 11 seasons, but don't quote me on that. I'm not sure exactly. But Derek Jeter made the list, but I have to, my opinion on baseball aside, I don't know why Derek Jeter made the list. I understand he's in the news a lot, maybe because of him dating so many socialites, but otherwise, I didn't think this was necessary. I mean, I know that he made some kind of hitting streak recently, and only like 28 other baseball players have hit that same streak, but I think other people could have filled that spot. And finally, and actually number one on the list, was Steve Jobs, the former Apple CEO. And this is, it goes without saying, I think most deserving on the list. And you know what? I did leave out somebody. I'll get back to them momentarily, but good thing I have a list. Steve Jobs made the list, and I just know that at the time of his passing, people were making so many references to his products and as a way of showing their depression over his passing. Some people actually used the phrase "I sad" in reference to, of course, Steve Jobs' creations, the iPad, the iPod, iTunes, all of those things. People were very hurt by his passing and touched by all his creations, and I mean, we use something of Steve Jobs' expertise every day, so he deserves the biggest thank you of anyone on this list, and definitely the number one spot is well given. Um, and the last person I almost skipped over, Pippa Middleton, the sister of Kate Middleton, now the Duchess of Cambridge. I know that people took a lot of interest in Pippa and her attire at the royal wedding, and I think interest in her just kind of took off from there, but Pippa and the Kardashians and Derek Jeter, I'd say, are the most questionable candidates on the list. They ultimately made Barbara's list, but those three, I think I could have done without. I think other people could have gone in their place. Perhaps in a upcoming video, I will give my own interpretation of the top 10 most fascinating people of 2011. I'm not sure, but it's always a possibility. So thanks guys for tuning in, and once more, happy holidays, regardless of what you are celebrating. Enjoy, and hope to see you soon, and have a good one.